pine trees sway. Lies of truth they've tried to hide away. Broken homes built on cash and lies. Children's tears with no goodbyes. City halls wrapped in walls so proud. Whispers buried beneath the cloud. Promised stars that just never shone. Kids forgotten and left alone. The Punisher's here to make it right. Vinny's voice will break the night. Expose the webs they try to weave. Maine's children need a reason to believe. In the corners where the shadows meet, little souls afraid to speak. Guardians with hearts so cold sell the young for stacks of gold. Dark secrets under moonlit skies. No more hushed or quiet cries. Stand up tall and shine the light. Justice calls and we'll unite. The Punisher's here to make it right. Vinny's voice will break the night. Expose the webs they try to weave. Maine's children need a reason to believe. Punisher's here to make it right. Vinny's voice will break the night. Expose the webs they try to weave. Maine's children need a reason to believe.
Oh no, Dana's gone. We lost Dana. Earth to Dana. I just realized that when we made this song, Dana wasn't like full-fledged on here. So I'm going to adjust this song right now for him.
I'm right here, man. I heard everything.
It's not fair. It's not fair that Dana's not in the song. So I'm adjusting the song right now. People, by the time that this podcast is over with, Dana will be inserted into the song.
Wow, that's very, I'm honored, man. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I figured, like you've been 2 out of 3. I mean, this
is a great day.
Yeah. It's almost better than getting an award, isn't it?
Almost.
It's pretty sad that his cat is over there moving the same movement as he is.
Yeah, it's my little friend. It's a her now.
Familiar.
We figured it out.
The wizard familiar.
Oh, man, you made her upset. I don't know. We're not the same. So, what's up, guys? What do you hear in the news in Maine? A whole bunch, right? This corruption is getting nasty.
Yep.
Janet,
Yeah, sure.
Hello,
Yeah,
Janet.
we have taxes. Of course, our budget is horribly in the red because Janet Mills is a freaking idiot, but and a criminal as far as I'm concerned. But so now they're desperately trying to figure out how to fix this, what to do about it, which we've known, and a lot of my friends that are in the state legislature have known about it, and we've been talking about it, seeing it coming. The train's coming down the road. Pretty soon you're going to have to figure out how you're going to pay these bills. And they put it off. They've been doing shenanigans. So now they come out with a budget, and guess what? There's a whole bunch of new taxes. So we got a cigarette tax. We've got a streaming tax. We've got 2 or 3 others. I don't remember off the top of my head. That's just ridiculous. It's more taxes, and Maine is not a wealthy state, folks. We are not rolling in cash here. The median income is low. We have a high rate of poverty. We have a lot of elderly people here on Social Security. We're paying for Maine care for their health. We don't have a ton of money, and this has been coming. It's absolutely despicable. So that's how I feel about that.
Here's the question. How much has the amount of children increased in the state this past year? What is the increase in the amount of children taken into the possession of the state? Because that's where the money, that's where they're giving us money fill this void, right? I bet you it's at least 4 or 5% increase, right? That's how we balance our budget here in the state of Maine. If you watch with the steady increases that they have, the amount of children go right in hand with that. It's crazy. Think I'm crazy? People can go look it up, or I'll find it here for us. My little friend's taking off here.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts that you'll watch the amount that the budget needs, and then the amount of children increased with that amount. Pretty wild. You figure for every $1 that they get through the Title IV funding, they get matched by 5 from the federal government. So it's a pretty good take, man. Let's go get some kids. We'll throw,
Okay.
we put in, we get matched $5 for $1.
Well, it says
Yeah.
as of July 1st, 2024, Maine has significantly increased the income eligibility for child care subsidy programs, raised the limit from 85% to 125% of state's median income.
Wow.
Well, whatever that means. Anyway, so oh Lord, are you frozen, Dana, or is that just a look of peril?
Look of peril. I love that
Very good.
phrasing. Well said. Well done. Yeah, it's just, it's these shenanigans they're pulling. They're just, it's got to stop. We're on a path to destruction as a state. Our government is just in the toilet and has been, and we've got to, get involved and take it back. And the whole CPS thing is just a symptom of that vast cancer. That we have agents that are exercising authority they don't have. They're kidnapping children from loving parents, and we have to all get together and say no. And people often don't want to get involved in causes they have no dog in the fight, so to speak. They haven't had their kids taken away. Their kids aren't being threatened. No one from CPS is pounding on their door or stalking them. So they're not all that concerned, and they want to think that if a child is taken, it's because, of course, they're trying to help this poor child that was in peril and danger. And we have to reject that premise entirely and say no. The ultimate authority of our children is from we the parents. And if at any point the child is in danger, then there should be a logical sequence of events conducted lawfully that will investigate this.
According to them, it's supposed to be imminent danger, right?
Yeah.
So the first move for imminent danger should be what? The ambulance, the police car, right? Wouldn't that be an imminent danger situation?
Yeah, well, obviously you should be able to actually prove imminent danger, and they're not. Their standard is so low that you can just simply say, I don't want my kid to have a shot. Pediatrician says my kid needs a shot. I say no, I don't want to have that shot, and they go, oh, we're calling Child Protective Services, and because you're an unfit parent. It's ludicrous.
Because you're not going with what we are saying you have to do. That's all that is.
It's about
You're
power and control.
Didn't we hear this? Doesn't this happen before? Wasn't there a country not too long ago that if you didn't do what they said and whatever, that they, you got pushed to the back of the mill?
I mean, to be fair,
Well,
to be fair, look at China right now. That's where the Chinese Communist Party rules their country with a stranglehold. Look what happened in Tiananmen Square when the people came out and they said, we don't want you to be ruling us. We want to rule ourselves. We want a democratic. And what happened? They sent tanks out and they arrested everyone and they tortured them and they forced them to offer confessions after being tortured. And, that's what we're headed for. People don't see that, then your eyes are closed. That is the path we're on right now.
Well, at that point, it's too late, right? The distance that they went at that point, it was too late because it didn't matter that they sat out in the middle of that square.
Yeah, because the rest of the world didn't come to their aid. The rest of the world didn't say to China, look, man, the jig is up. We see you. We see all these people out there, and you're going to send tanks out and murder your own people and then pretend to us that you're somehow the people want you in charge, that you're pretending that most of the people support you, when clearly the bulk of the people that showed up that day knew that they were in danger for doing it. They knew that they were risking their lives. They knew it, and they did it anyway. Think of how many people wanted to be there that just didn't have the courage to risk their lives and their personal safety.
But at the end of the day, it didn't matter, did it?
Well, no, that's, they're still, Chinese Communist Party's still in charge, and no one's going to protest anymore because they know what happens to you if you do.
We can't let it get to that point, is what my point is.
I agree.
It's gone too far. And we are at that teetering at that point now where it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
You know when the United States defining moment is for CPS? And this is my own theory. You could take it or leave it. But the defining moment for exactly what you just said was that Time magazine shot of the year, right? Like where the team, sitting in the square with the tank and the guys right in front of the tank and all that. When the United States and CPS's one was? When the United States knew that they could go into a family's home, steal their kid, and no one's going to do a goddamn thing about it. Elian Gonzalez. When the ATF stormed into that house, ripped that kid out of his parents' arms, and stole that kid right from their home, and with the ATF agent, all of that stuff, put right on the front of Time magazine, no one said boo about it. Deport that kid, get him back to, where he's from, blah, blah, blah. No one cared. That moment showed right there that these state policemen now can go and storm in your house, steal your kid, make that kid leave, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And guess what? No one else cared either. No one gave a shit. I'll pull that picture up.
To be fair. Well, no, to be fair, a lot of people care about things, but they just don't dare to speak, which is understandable.
So get this, Dana. I received an email this past week from my criminal attorney who is happening to give up his spot representing me because I filed a grievance to the bar against him for not doing his job. But I asked him a direct question. I asked him a direct question about my case and what the strong points of my case would be. Well, one, they have no proof whatsoever that the supposed messages are even valid. Okay. Two, he says that she is unreliable and there is inconsistencies in her reports. And then three, that if this person was to show up at trial, it would defamate her completely.
Okay. So, yeah, not much you can do about that. The attorney doesn't have to represent you if he doesn't want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. And your complaint to the bar is highly unlikely to produce anything because the bar, sticks with their own. They're a team. Unless there's a lot of publicity and some really conspicuous wrongdoing, they're not going to do anything.
Otherwise,
you're on
they put it out to the public when they haven't even formally charged me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It's a lot of injustice out there, and unfortunately, we've let it happen. That's what Darren was saying. We got to get together and say, no, this is enough. Enough is enough. We're going to stop and we'll turn that back and make sure that, the people that we elect follow the law and honor their oaths. And if they don't, they're going to get charged with criminal charges, and they will very quickly fall into line with we the people once we start doing that. I feel like we're close. I really feel like there's an era of accountability coming. I'm seeing a lot of content posted online right now that would have been taken down a year or two ago that is now coming out. We have Mark Zuckerberg pretending that he's now a fan of free speech because he got caught.
Yeah, I see that thing too.
Yeah, he's caught with his pants down, so he's trying to jump. And I've predicted this long ago, years ago. I think Darren, you and I maybe talked about this back when we first met. I said there's going to come a moment when they can't do it anymore. They cannot continue to suppress the truth of all things. And upon this happening, they are going to be forced to either account for themselves or flee, because they will be prosecuted for these crimes. Kidnapping is a crime. If you're kidnapping a child, that's a crime. And we can pretend it makes sense and pretend they have authority they don't have, but they don't, and it's all on record. And sooner or later, if the public opinion is behind us and the weight of public opinion is behind us, then we will be able to say we want to revisit this. And now the people that behaved in this way are going to be held accountable, and they're going to be charged with criminal charges, and we're going to stop kidnapping children.
Yeah, well, did you see that? Did you see the thing that the ACLU put out about releasing some of these parents from jail because there is no attorneys to represent them?
Wow. I didn't see that, but not surprised.
Yeah, it was put out by the Maine Morning Star.
Well, whatever makes it work. You know, I mean, we want justice. We want them to be released, not because there's no attorney to represent them, but because they're ruled to be innocent and publicly held to be innocent. And, you know, all of the times that children have been kidnapped, we want the people that did it to be charged with kidnapping. That's what I want.
That's what I want too.
Yeah.
There you go. We mostly all agree on that. And if we could unite all of our voices together, we could see it happen. So I'm totally committed to making it happen. As you know, that's why I'm here.
Before I go to this next point about this, I'm going to write it down because we know how my brain works. Check this out. This is that picture I was talking about right here. This was on the cover of every magazine, every news media, everything back in 1999. This right here says it all. Cops come in, take kid, right there, this, and nobody in America outrages and cries. The government says, hey, let's move ahead with our programs like CAPTA, America's Safe Family Act, all of these ones that now, instead of giving money to help the family reunify, are now getting money to advance in the adoption process. Now this is when you see these programs come out, where before that it's Title IV funding, where it's reunification. Now you see this happen, and then right after this comes adoption. No one's going to care that they're coming in and taking your kids by gunpoint.
Right. And where are all these kids going?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
government appointed homes with
me and
Darren
are down that rabbit hole, so we kind of understand where they're going. But
Dana knows too.
That's the step one is government custody. The agents and the people that are authorized by the government that are working for the agents, and the agencies have people, and we don't know who they are, where they are, what they're doing to the kids. They just, they're all in their authority, basking in their make-believe authority to do whatever they want. And unfortunately, the people that typically seek children, there are two types of people that seek out children. There are people with good intentions that want to protect and nurture children. And there are people with bad intentions that want to do bad things to children. And unfortunately, those people are very good at pretending to be good people that want to take care of children. That's why organizations like the Boy Scouts get infiltrated by them, because it's a haven for them to be next to their potential victims.
I find it to be true because over the years I had found out back when I was in Boy Scouts, anyways, in my town, they actually posted something about our troop leader being a pedophile.
Yeah.
And I never knew until years down the road.
Yeah, it's bad stuff. And they almost had to cancel the Boy Scouts, or did they disassemble the Boy Scouts at this point now?
I think they still exist. I'm pretty sure
they still exist, but I think they're under a lot of scrutiny, though.
They are, for sure.
Okay, now if Maine wants to do something, they got to follow suit with this right here. This is what Maine is going to follow suit with. They want to make the big difference in their child protective services instead of stealing everybody's kids and all of that. Check this stuff out. Oklahoma has it right, man. Oklahoma has it dead nuts, man. Watch this.
Way too many of those in our state. News 4's Sydney Batzloff is at the Capitol this evening.
DHS workers could be charged with
lagging out there.
Separating families under new bill. Call it accountability, but some child advocates say it could hurt children.
There's no question that children could be impacted by this.
This bill, found by Republican State Representative Gabe Woolley, would require DHS to present clear and convincing evidence to justify keeping children away from their families.
It would change the word preponderance, which would be 51% likelihood or belief that something may be happening that could endanger a child, I feel like we shouldn't be playing 50-50 games with children and their safety.
If DHS fails to meet this new standard and refuses to return a child, the employee responsible could face felony charges.
If you take a child, don't have evidence to continue to keep them, that's kidnapping.
This is putting a chilling effect on recruitment of quality DHS workers who might be fearful that they may face some kind of felony charge if they're simply doing their job in a harmful situation.
Representative Woolley's own experience inspired his push for this bill.
People feel like they're being treated as guilty until proven innocent. Some families haven't seen their children in many years, close to 10 years.
His relatives, Bill and Lisa Woolley, lost custody of one grandchild after his little brother died in their care. The autopsy showed he was sexually assaulted and suffocated. Charges against the Woolleys were eventually dropped, although the case is not closed and they do not have custody of the child in question.
This bill is not about my family or just about my family. There are so many families throughout the state of Oklahoma, and many people that we've talked with. This is not an isolated event.
But Dorman says it's cases like Elijah Woolley's death that highlight the need for thorough investigations.
For every instance where a child is investigated and it turns out the situation is not harmful, you're going to have situations where the children lie and it is a very harmful situation. So a full investigation needs to happen to make sure that children are protected.
In Oklahoma City, Sydney Batzloff, Oklahoma's News 4.
News 4 reached out to DHS about the bill, but since it's pending legislation, they cannot comment. Also, Representative Woolley says he is willing to make amendments to the bill. Child advocates hope he'll reach out to them for help.
Have you ever noticed that they say they cannot comment? Like on everything we see, even here in Maine, when they post about them, we cannot comment on them. Why is that? Why is this going on?
Deep thoughts by many. But so this is a bad thing, changing clear and convincing preponderance to clear and convincing? Dana?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I missed the last piece of what you just said.
Do you think that this is a bad thing, changing the evidence from clear preponderance amount of evidence to clear and convincing to hold a kid in custody? And not only that, they should arrest the state caseworker if they're in fact holding them wrongly and without information, without facts and evidence?
For sure, because it's pretty straightforward, man. The law is the law. The law says that if you take a person's child away from them using force or threat or coercion, it's kidnapping.
Yeah.
And before anyone can come to you and say, I am taking your kid, they have to be able to prove that they're acting lawfully. And they're not. It's literally that simple. And so it doesn't matter who they are, a caseworker, an agent, guy in a weird, creepy van. It's all the same. and we, the people, need to stop accepting the premise. We accept the premise, it becomes prevalent, right? They can do this. We see them doing it. Obviously, they can do it. No, they can't. And we have to get in the habit of stating that and telling them, no, you can't. Prove me wrong.
I wish I would have recorded everything that day, because I tell you what, they did threaten my wife that if she didn't sign the safety plan, they would take our kids right then and there. So they did threaten her, and they did coerce her into signing that fucking safety plan.
Kidnapping, coercion, kidnapping, whatever she signed is irrelevant. No contract can be signed under duress. All fraud vitiates all contracts, period, end of story. In America, you need to learn to use those words. Those are the words you use. So, and unfortunately, most people, when they're in these situations, they don't know how to deal with these so-called authority figures. We're not taught that. We're taught you can't know the law or anything about the law unless you go to law school. Have you been to law school? No? Okay, well, you can't know these things. Well, that's false. And we can know the basics. And as Americans, the most important thing we can embrace is the concept that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. All laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. This is a Supreme Court decision, Marbury versus Madison. Look it up. Learn that phrase. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. Learn the Bill of Rights. Learn to recite it. Article 2, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. These things
Even
are
by
important.
you, Governor Mills.
There you go. And they violated our rights all the time. Our free speech is violated. Our right to keep and bear arms is violated. Our right to unlawful searches and seizures, protection from those, violated. We have the Patriot Act, which is an abomination of communism, the seed of communism, government oversight and intrusion into the private lives of Americans, even up to assassination. They have literally told us they will murder us if they want to. That is premeditated murder. Death row is lined up with people who were found guilty in our court system of premeditated murder, and most of them were only killing one person.
Right,
Our government keenly plans to murder us, sometimes in mass, if it suits their purpose. And I'm telling you, heads need to roll for that, and we can make that happen. It's on my list. So anyway, knowing your rights is important. Knowing how to speak to these people is important. Make them account for themselves. Ask them questions. Never let them coerce you into doing something like signing something, which at the time seems like it makes sense because they will threaten and they sound very sincere. But if we don't resist that, then it's going to continue to happen. It's going to happen to the next one. And when it happens to anyone, we all need to get behind that person immediately and say, oh, hell no. And I don't care that, Darren's some guy I've never met living somewhere else, and I might not even like him. It doesn't matter to me if his child is kidnapped. That means mine can be kidnapped. Right? Well, hell no. Not on my watch. Fuck no. Excuse my French.
No, you can say it here. It's freedom.
Yeah, I swear sometimes. I try to warn people when I'm doing my own live streams because I try not to swear, but man, sometimes you just gotta throw it out there that you're having your child kidnapped. It's time to swear.
It's just gotta fly right out of your mouth. It's just nuts. Because if we can't even do that anymore, then what have we come to?
Yeah, well, it's on us. It's on we the people. We've let it happen.
Come on,
Yeah, I mean, we've let this happen. We keep electing these idiots, sending them back there over and over again, and then they up their ante every time they go back. They up their ante. America, did you know that Congress just gave themselves a raise? Did you know that? Of course not. Not on the news, is it? Did ABC News broadcast that the government just gave themselves a big fat raise? 40%. These fuckers gave themselves 40% raise. They're making 6 digits. They have salary for life. They are just absolutely vile, absolutely contemptible. They're parasites, and I'm so angry at them. And they're sending billions and billions and billions of dollars to foreign nations to fund their wars, while the people of Western North Carolina and La Jolla, Hawaii, and Southern California, their houses all burned flat, but we don't seem to have any money to help them. We'll throw them a check, maybe $700, and put them on the FEMA list, but that's about it. $40 billion to Ukraine, though. Sure, that makes sense. It's vile. They're utterly vile. So, but what's funny, Darren, is a lot of people feel the same way, but they don't really know what to do. And I'm starting to gain a little momentum. Like, I'll say to people, well, are you mad about this? Are you upset about this? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm mad as hell about it. But what are you going to do? And I say, well, thank you for asking. That's a great question.
Right.
So here's what we're going to do. We're all going to get together. We're going to write petitions. We're going to sign them by the millions. We're going to send letters. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to witness this. This is going to be like, I'm going to be doing this, and I'm publishing every letter. I'm writing open letters to the governors, to our legislators, to everyone. I'm going to post them on my social media and on X and say, this is what I'm saying. If you agree with me, all you got to do is you could send the same letter. Say, I like everything you just wrote. I agree with you. Boom. You send a copy to them yourself. You say, I agree with this guy. That's it. You get 1 million people, 10 million people, 100 million pissed off Americans all saying the same thing and telling them you're going to be held accountable because we're aware of you now. We don't have to rely on mainstream media anymore to learn about your shenanigans. There's video available all over the place. If you want to see what's happening in Southern California, you can go to the social media accounts of the people that are there. You can see the videos they made for themselves. Judge for yourself what you think is going on. You don't have to listen to the CBS News or whatever. And they can't hide the truth anymore. That's what they were doing, is hiding the truth of all these things from us by having this media perpetrate this propaganda and convince us all that these things were, the way they're saying and not the way they really are, whatever's really happening, which is often nefarious conduct by government officials. That we're not here.
It's because of the lithium mine out there.
And now we see it. Now we see it for ourselves. They can't deny stuff's happening because we can see it there. So, and voting, yes, Tammy, we're voting. And this is something that makes me angry because every time I talk about voting, a bunch of people immediately jump in and go, oh, it won't matter. Oh, don't waste your time. Oh, the vote's all rigged, blah, 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 whatever. You're giving into their paradigm. Everyone must vote every frickin' time, as much as humanly possible. It's the only way that the system actually will work correctly. And you're going to find that the half of people that don't vote would have influenced many elections the other way. If they had voted, things would have been different. But they don't vote because they're discouraged. Don't let that happen. Yes, there is fraud. Yes, fraud exists. Yes, they're always trying to rig the vote. Yes, they're always trying to figure out new ways of counting. The gerrymandering has become insane. If you don't know what that word means, it means they arrange districts in cities the way they want so that they will get a preponderance of the voting engineered to their liking. And it's absolutely ludicrous. They will design districts that are, miles long and half a mile wide or zigging and zagging just to get specific areas in that zone. That gerrymandering, it's criminal. Okay, look at the filibuster. The filibuster is basically them taking a sacred right as an lawfully elected senator, their sacred right to speak without being interrupted or cut off, so that we can resolve critical issues of our nation. And they use it to have a childish hissy fit because they're not getting what they want, and they go in and they begin talking and they refuse to stop talking until you give in to their demands. It's hostage taking. It's absolutely insane that we would as a nation tolerate that. And whenever I see someone threatening to do it, I don't care what side you are on an issue, I will lobby for your impeachment, because that's BS. So we get involved. We know what's going on now because we have the information. We get involved. We call them politely, respectfully. We do not approach them on the street with hostility. We don't camp in front of their houses. We leave them the hell alone. We let them have their personal lives. In their public lives, we cry out for them to do the right thing and do what we want and be accountable for their behavior. And we tell them that we're not going to vote for you if you don't. We will vote you out of office, because that means something to them. And eventually we're going to see the momentum is shifting now. It's shifting with the advent of Donald Trump being elected president. I'm not a huge Donald Trump fan, but I'm just saying he's talking about he wants to make the border secure. He wants to have Americans come first, so we're not sending aid to foreign nations while we ourselves are having homeless veterans on the street. I can't imagine anyone that would be opposed to these things, no matter how much you don't like Donald Trump. So I see this momentum. I see us shifting and going in the direction. And I'm confident that it can happen. So, but it's not time to let down our guard. In fact, it's time to redouble our efforts, and it's time for all the people on the sidelines to get involved. You've got to get involved. You've got to make your voice heard, because once we all get involved together, we will see good progress, and everyone will benefit except the tyrants and their agents. And they're going to lose big time, and they're all going to be in jail. We'll be able to have a huge party and celebrate, and I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Yep. We're on the barbecue, baby.
End of rant.
Very nice. That was very nice rant, Dana.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I picture you at the head of the barbecue that day.
Damn straight.
Chef Angry Citizen.
I barbecue like a boss, man. I'm telling you.
I can totally, absolutely, 100%. I bet you $1 million you're more than a boss. That's a grill. I bet it's one hell of a sight. What I'm trying to look for is this article here that I found earlier this morning that spoke about some other Maine thing. And this is when I said earlier that Maine is now making the news. I wanted to, let's see if I just pull it up here. Boy, I sure am clicking a lot of things. Oh, Lord. See what happens.
Yeah, they got a lot of articles out about them. Lots and lots of articles about Maine.
Let me see. Maine. Dana, how's everything else going, bud?
Well, don't know what to tell you. I'm living my life the best I can and trying to raise my kid. And last one, hopefully, I'll have to raise.
How about
Yeah,
how
let's
about
talk
this
about
article?
Okay, what you got?
This is a good article right here. I was just reading it. Where are the blue supports on this? Y'all up on a billboard for child abuse yet? What's the correct number need to say? You're gonna back her like you did the ones awaiting trial for murder. Let me guess, she did this on self-defense too. That should be out under the jail. Ex-probation officer kept child kenneled with dog, indictment says. And this
Yeah.
is under the main one of the main groups.
Yeah, this is what they're doing up here. I couldn't believe that I saw this on this morning. Let me see if I can find it here. For quite some time, a convincing thing of my own. But Maine is the snake's head for a lot of this corruption, man.
Yep, it really is.
There's a lot more. This is just the tip of the iceberg, man, that people are starting to understand and see what this is getting to be. There's just way too much going on here for it to be just a coincidence. It's I mean, it sucks. I mean, this used to be our state. This was vacation land. This was the way life should be. This was if you read this sign, you'd be home by now. You know, if you could read this sign, you'd be home. You know what I mean? Like, this was once a great state to be a part of, and now it's a laughing stock of family, a choice for a family to move to. It really is. I mean, it rates the worst in all of the categories, making it the worst state in the country to move to and have a child. You know what I mean? That's disgusting for a state that was once so big on
It is.
those things. You know,
Well, you know, we had a sort of mediocre economy most of the time anyway, and we've always been kind of a low income state, and we've had lots of poverty and obesity and sickness and elderly and all that stuff. But when the scamdemic hit and Janet Mills, in essence, shut down our most vital and productive industries of restaurant and hospitality for an entire season, and that was a shot in the foot for us. And on top of that BS, we had a whole ton of so-called healthcare workers who had a gun put to their head and were told, you need to accept an experimental injection or lose your jobs. And this was the ultimate irony. These are healthcare professionals. They're not uninformed dolts off the street. They're healthcare professionals who were saying they did not want this shot to be injected into them. And they were told, you will get it or be fired. And they did, in fact, end up firing quite a few people. Then having a crisis of attendance of personnel, not enough personnel to do the jobs that needed to be done. They started implementing emergency procedures like importing people like traveling nurses who needed no verification of any kind of injection. The irony of this cannot be overstated. So we crippled our hospitality and restaurant industries. She overspent. That's why she's raising all these taxes, because now she's in deep trouble. We're in the red in our budget, and we have all these services we're supposed to be paying for, ridiculously high budget for a state our size and with our income level, and she wants to raise taxes. So she's just, beating the hell out of the people of Maine. It's an abomination. Janet Mills is an abomination.
Yep, she's sucking us dry.
Yeah,
She's
and
just
more
like-
taxes on things like cigarettes. This is the stupidest idea. A cigarette tax. What an idiotic idea. That never works. Look at history, how that works. Everywhere it works. You create a black market of cigarettes. There's going to be people importing cigarettes, driving them up from Massachusetts, from New Hampshire, wherever they can go, and selling them. And, it's not going to raise hardly any money at all. Not only that, I mean, I'm not a smoker, cigarette smoker, and I really find it quite foul, but I understand that people smoke cigarettes and it's very addictive because they created this product specifically to be addictive. It's human nature. I've seen many people struggle with it, and now you're going to punish these people by making them pay, for other people's stuff. It's ridiculous. It offends me to my soul.
It offends me to my soul.
Dude.
That's crazy.
Yep. So Maine is,
Oh, wait, I found it. I found it.
thriving as a state.
You know
we have-
what I don't understand is, okay, if Maine housing is supposed to support the people in Maine on getting housing, okay, why are they giving $2 million in state funds to school systems instead of taking care of our veterans and our homeless on the streets?
Good question to ask them. Very good question.
Because it's right here on News Channel 13. Maine Housing awards $2 million in state funds to 5 different school systems for a pilot program aimed at helping students who are homeless and those in danger of becoming homeless.
Okay.
Why would you give it to the school? Why not help them that are becoming homeless or are homeless?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, don't know.
We all need
Don't
to
know what to say.
live, right?
Like Dana says, everybody, Mills is very corrupt and needs to go. She needs to be taken out of that office,
She'll be in
and
jail.
the Democratic Party behind her that are all corrupt need to go, along with their corrupt judges. There's one judge in Maine that has spoken up on constitutional rights, and that's in the Superior Court.
Number that called in the complaints, there's a lot more who didn't, Bobby.
Start this over here.
And
I love Monday.com.
What's Monday.com?
You don't know Monday.com? This is Monday.com. It's a
Budsman. I always have trouble with that word. They're supposed to be the ones that see what's going on here, get to the bottom of things. They released their annual report on Maine's Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS, Office of Child and Family Services. Child Welfare Ombudsman is an impartial office that handles complaints made against Maine's DHHS office. 2024 report highlighted issues within that office that negatively impact child safety. 80 child welfare cases were investigated. This is according to WMTW News. That report revealed that in one case, a child was hospitalized for malnutrition as a result of neglect, then reunited with the parents for another month before being taken into state custody.
Dude.
Another investigation revealed that a child was living in an unsafe home for 6 weeks after the initial report to the department and further subjected to sexual abuse by a parent who was a registered sex offender. The Maine OCFS director, Bobby Johnson, says there are nearly 10,000 reports and investigations her office is assigned to. I'm already not going to like her because you're already starting with that. So I already don't like you, Bobby, and I think you know why. Director Johnson says the constituents that call into the Child Welfare Ombudsman represent a small portion of all of the families served in a similar time period. Johnson took up the position last year. So what she's saying is, how I would phrase that rather, if this is the number that called in the complaints, there's a lot more who didn't, Bobby. And can we put up her picture? I know I shouldn't do this, but I can look at her picture and tell she don't give a you know what. Huh?
She don't give
Well,
a
I mean,
shit.
we got 10,000 K. What do you want me to do about it? I mean, just because other people didn't complain doesn't mean you have a stellar office. What she should have said was, look, those 2 cases that you're citing there, outrageous. And I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Is that so hard?
Mm-hmm.
What's so hard about that? I don't understand. Bobby. Dozens of people employed by Maine's Office of Child and Family Services have signed a letter of no confidence in the director of the office, Bobby Johnson. Maine Service Employees Association said 145 caseworkers, community care workers, case aides cited Johnson's failure to acknowledge or address critical safety issues relating to hoteling children in state. These are her own caseworkers. They're not saying thanks for defending us. They're saying, Bobby don't want that smoke. Bobby, who, huh? We never see Bobby. She's not handling any of this. She's just collecting the check. And a lot of times these jobs, I don't know about in this case in Maine, but I know what happens here in Georgia. They're appointments, they're gifts, they're, hey, you're my friend, Fran. Put you in charge of this office if you want. You get a nice salary too. Almost like a no-show. I don't know about Maine, but I don't like Bobby. And I don't think you do either. Not when you know the facts. There's more. There's more. In their letter of no confidence, they include the following complaints. Aggressive children have assaulted staff in hotel rooms. A directive that staff should address safety concerns by calling local law enforcement. The lack of staff training to safely restrain dysregulated minors, something staff members do not want to have to do in the first place. Staff being mandated to cover hotel shifts and then having to immediately go to court hearings, causing concern that staff members do not have adequate preparation time for court hearings on those timelines. It continues. Staff being mandated to cover multiple shifts within 24 to 36 hours, despite the issue of driving while fatigued, including the transportation of youths in state custody. Staff not being certified to administer medications and concerns about medications that are not secured in locked boxes. Staff concerned that as a result of mandated long hours, vital information will not be documented in their cases and critical deadlines will be missed. According to the letter, workers said they have repeatedly raised those concerns in meetings with Johnson with no resolution whatsoever. She sounds awful. She sounds like 80% of the news directors I ever had. The reason we would get sued on stories because they wouldn't follow protocols and stayed in their office eating sandwiches with distended bellies. They just sat and ate sandwiches while everything crumbled around them, not caring about the viewer. And that was just the newsroom. This is real life. These are children, their lives, their welfare, their trauma, all of it at stake. And Bobby is chilling.
Let's take a pause on this. What do you think about that? So the thing I like, it teeters, it's close. It's damn close to what the real problems are. Damn close, but not quite. So you got the caseworkers are passing the buck now. Whoa, we can't do this because we can't do retired and we're this and we're that. I'll tell you what. Oh, and these kids, they're mad in the hotel rooms and we're not capable of holding. You think they're mad? You just stole them from their parents. Of course they're pissed off and out of control. They don't want to be there. This isn't a hotel world in Disney. You stole them from their families. Expect this. You know, this is where people, they try to sugarcoat that distance between what the reality of what they're doing is and what it means, what the people think that they're doing is. Saving kids or stealing them. There's one or the other, and it's about, you can't have a little bit of both. It's either one or the other. Look at the inside of it, you'll see straight up stealing. You go ask the family of the kids that got taken, they stole my kid. You go ask that kid, I got stolen. You go ask them, but now you ask caseworkers, saving a family. Oh yes, kidnapping. But you go ask the caseworkers now, oh, we're helping a family, we're saving that child's life, we're doing this. You ask the family, it's all kidnapping.
Amen. Call it what it is. We use the words that need to be used. Okay, this is the naked truth. Truth is a sort of God. They're not taking them, they are kidnapping them. It's a federal crime, it's a felony.
Yep.
Without a court order or a judge. At that.
What should make it more?
Well, I would debate you on the legality or lawfulness of that as well, but at least we accept this core premise that they can't just show up and say, in my judgment, your child is in danger, therefore I'm taking them.
They get away with it every day.
I know, and they shouldn't. It has to stop, and then we have to go back and we have to find everyone that did it, and we have to punish them.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Every damn one of them.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
Well, then that needs to be where we start that one right there. That's the way that the bill is going to work for the state of Maine. Any person that had their kids removed by a preliminary protection order or something that wasn't valid warrant, an actual warrant to remove your child, get your kid back, man.
And charges against those that did it. Yep.
Yep. Felony kidnapping charges, each one.
And that will have my full support. I will support that initiative in every way, shape, and form, enthusiastically, and I will be very loud about it. As you know, I'm a loud guy, and it's just what I do. I'm not ashamed of what I'm saying because it's the truth. And the people that don't want to hear me are the people that are lying and committing crimes that want to get away with it. So shame on all of you. Shame on all of you.
Yep. There, that's an action step, my friend. We've just created our first action step for this main program that we have. I'm going to start writing a bill for this. Dana can co-sponsor as well as me. And we will. But I think that's it. I think maybe even just that piece of legislation right there, like we need to go over with a fine-tooth comb how many kids have been taken in this state without proper procedures, without proper warrant, or without proper custody paperwork, whatever you call them. We need to find out who has been done and who hasn't.
Yep. And we have all the power, folks. Okay, people have all the power. We have all the authority. We can impeach public servants. This includes judges. Judges can be impeached. And an impeachment is simply a criminal charge or a charge of some sort levied against a person in public office. It's the same as charging them with a crime. It is literally charging them with a crime. Impeachment. A judge lawfully impeached can be removed from office and be charged criminally and sent to prison, which we should do because some of them deserve to be in prison. So we have tools available to us. It starts with awareness and then it manifests as action. And when someone takes an action you support, be loud about it. Support them. Say, yeah, man, this CPS Punisher guy, he's saying some pretty, strong things, but I agree with him. I think what he's saying is right and true, and I'm willing to say so publicly.
Well, and it's only because he's backed up by the angry citizen and his buddy Vinny.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it, my man.
Damn straight.
So that's how it works. But yeah, that's I think that's a good start, don't you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
I mean, that's a good place to begin. I mean, this is a big problem, and everybody's trying to eat this monster. But we're just gonna, Dana, you know how you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Yes, sir. You know it, baby.
Damn straight.
Yep. Benny, you got anything else you want to talk about before we leave?
Just for you guys, keep checking out all of our shows. We have one hell of a lineup for everybody. Also, make sure you check Dana out. He's got his own show going on.
Yeah, he sure does.
We got to get his link out there to you guys.
You can find me on The Angry Citizen. Look at YouTube at The Angry Citizen. You'll find me there. You find me on BitChute. You find me on Facebook, Angry Citizen. You'll know it's me. I look like me. So thank you all for your support.
I look like me.
It's one of the benefits of this look is that there aren't too many people that look like me, so no one's confused when they're looking for me. They pretty much find me fairly quickly. But yeah, the more we unite, the more we get together, the more we all agree on the things on which we agree. We need to stop focusing on the shit that we don't agree on. Let's not argue about whether or not this is this or that is that. If it's something we have a solid disagreement, put it aside for now. Let's just table it. We'll talk about that later. Okay, let's all agree that our rights are paramount and absolutely sacred, that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land and all laws that are repugnant to it are null and void, and that we the people will stick together to protect each other's rights, even if we don't like each other, even if it's a Republican and a Democrat or a cat and a dog or a white man and a black man or whatever the paradigm is. No one cares. We're constitutional Americans. We protect each other. We have each other's backs. And that robs the tyrants of all their power. So when we do that, we will see progress. We will see success. So, and there's guys like Darren that are busting his ass trying to, get his voice out, get this cause in front of people, unite all the people that have had these experiences like Vinny into a solid coalition that can say, no, A, we're done with this shit, and B, there's going to be some accountability for what you've done, and C, there's going to be change, and it won't happen again. That's where we're headed.
Oh, yeah.
Darren, I just want to say that I have until the 30th to get my motion into the courtroom.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get that thing up to work.
I did send a copy of what I had typed up, so you could review it. It's in a chat with me, you, Kim, and Gunner.
Okay.
So you could look that over and use whatever from that you think is good enough. I did and put in some case law in there as well. So
yes, you and your case law. We need an affidavit, right? We need an affidavit. That's what we need, right? Right, Dana?
Absolutely. Affidavit is one of the most powerful lawful tools available to we the people. It is a sworn statement of fact made under penalty of perjury. It can, if necessary, be held up in court. If you send a person an affidavit stating that certain things happen and give them time to rebut your affidavit and they fail to do so, your affidavit stands as fact in the court of law. It is a powerful tool because the only opposition that the enemy has to an affidavit is a lie. It's the only way they can refute it or try to get out of it or whatever. And it's a big risk because, again, penalty of perjury. Okay, look it up. Perjury is a very serious crime. If you send an affidavit on the penalty of perjury and that person can prove you wrong, you can be charged with perjury. So the affidavit is very powerful. Even receiving an affidavit gets results. Because as soon as a person receives an affidavit, they know two things. They know you know what the hell you're doing, and they know that they had better come up with an actual, factual refutation of that, or they are going to have to basically concede that it's true.
That's it. And
Affidavit.
everybody should. Amen to that.
Amen.
All right, guys. I promised you that by the end of this show, I would have a new song with all of us in it. That will be our new takeover song for the state of Maine and our show here. So let me see how this one sounds here. You guys want more rock or you want more country? What are you thinking?
Whatever you think.
Well, we do live in kind of country settings.
I kind of like this one right here. All right, guys. You ready?
Play it. We're ready.
I kind of like this one. This is the rock version that I've created.
Angry waves crash at the shore. Citizen rises demanding more. Vinny fights with fire blazing. Maine's corruption, he's upstaging. No more kids for cash, it's done. We're the storm blocking out the sun. Hear our voices loud and strong. Right the wrongs we sang so long. Our podcast screams, let the truth be known. Breaking chains on the microphone. With the Constitution as our guide, we'll free the kids and turn the tide. Standing tall, we won't give in. Our resolve deep within. Expose the greed, open eyes. Justice shines through all the lies. In the dark, we are the light. Rebel soldiers through the night. Citizens fighting for the truth. Hand in hand, we are the proof. Our podcast screams the truth.
I need to adjust it a little bit because when I was writing in Angry Citizen, I think it made it as an angry citizen, not you yourself, the angry citizen. So we need to adjust that. But there's that one.
Good start.
Then I have this one here.
In a small Maine town, under the sky so clear, a man named Vinny fights, driven by the fear. The CPS is corrupt, breaking hearts in cold. He stands with the people, brave and bold. Constitution help. He walks the streets, a one-man band. No more kids' cash, no more silent cries. In Vinny's eyes, the truth never dies. We're fighting for justice, standing tall.
So we have that one. And then we have this one.
Down in the heart of pine-covered lanes, Vinny fights the battles, raising up their names. Standing tall with Constitution in hand, kids for cash, we're taking back this land. CPS, Punisher, the angry citizen, never backed down since the fight began. Our voice is loud, a podcast for the truth. We'll free our kids, protect their youth. Stand up for Maine, where the pines grow tall, where freedom's call. We'll fight for all. No more tears, no more hidden blame. We'll bring justice in the pain. On the airwaves, we tell tales of wrong. With every word, our voice is strong. Corruption falls when the people rise. We won't be fooled by their disguise. Stand up for Maine, where the pines grow tall, where freedom's call. We'll fight for all. No more tears, no more hidden blame. We'll bring justice in the pain. Oh.
What'd you think?
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, they're both really good.
A little bit more work, but I think we're on the right track. I just didn't
So
want
we
to be
could do
live.
one for opening and one for closing, Darren.
And one for middle. So
Yeah.
there's 3. Unless you're pushing the raging one right out the door.
Yeah.
I want to do an assignment for next week. I want us to come up. Are you able to be on next week, or is next week a are you busy?
My next week looks open for 2.
Okay, cool.
Saturday 2, I'm open. So yeah.
I think we all need to find one law or one statute in the state of Maine involving children, where we are in the OCFS, one law that is completely asinine and illegal that needs to be changed, in our opinion. One law,
Only
one
one?
regulation, statute, one something that needs to be changed.
Okay. Only one. Right?
Okay.
Just one to start.
Okay.
How do we kill an elephant? How do we eat an elephant, Dana?
One bite at a time.
That's right. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out today. We appreciate it. We need to build this show. We will build this show one bite at a time. That's the way we do it. So until next week, thank you, everybody. Have a good day. And hit play so this works. Richard Gordon. There we go. All right, guys. Talk to y'all later.
See you at 7:30.
Don't forget the show tonight. Look out, Dana. And we still see a bitch and all that good stuff.
Lies of truth they've tried to hide away. Broken homes built on cash and lies. Children's tears with no goodbyes. City halls wrapped in walls so proud. Whispers buried beneath the cloud. Promised stars that just never shone. Kids forgotten and left alone. The Punisher is here to make it right. Vinny's voice will break the night. Expose the webs they try to weave. Maine's children need a reason to believe. In the corners where the shadows meet, little souls afraid to speak. Guardians with hearts so cold, sell the young for stacks of gold. Dark secrets under moonlit skies. No more hush to a quiet cries. Stand up tall and shine the light. Justice calls and we'll unite. The Punisher's here to make it right. Vinny's voice will break the night. Expose the webs they try to weave. Maine's children need a reason to believe. Punisher's here to make it right. Vinny's voice will break the night. Expose the webs they try to weave. Maine's children need a reason to believe.
I was just writing this up there, guys, but instead of that, I'll tell you all, thank you all so much for everything that you do, supporting our channel, supporting what we're doing, watching what we're doing. It really means a lot. So continue to like, share, do all of that stuff with us, and make sure that you guys join us. Hopefully learn